Good morning and greetings from Northumberland on the 21st of November. It's a very dull and dreary and damp morning as we come towards the end of the month and towards the end of the Christian year. Tomorrow is the Feast of Christ the King, which is the last Sunday of the Christian year, and we have one more week of this kingdom season, this time from All Saints to Advent to play out. And it struck me as I read the reading this morning, which is about the difference between life in this world and life in the next world, that these readings set up a number of challenges, or not all of which one can cover, but I think I wanted to say something about what they've been saying to me over this few weeks. I think the first thing they say to me is that this life is not a rehearsal for another life. Some people say that the life on earth is just preparation for life in heaven. I don't buy that entirely. This life is the beginning of life in the kingdom of God. Not something that we're preparing for, but something we've embarked upon. The kingdom of God is among you, Jesus says in some of our readings. We are living in this life with our eyes opened to the possibilities of something greater, of something more important, of something wider and broader than the life we already live. We are, as the prayers say, surrounded by saints and angels. We share our citizenship of heaven with those who have gone before us, and will share it with those who come after us. We are part of one united body. We particularly think about that at All Saints and All Souls back at the beginning of this month. We reflect on it again at Remembrance Sunday, when we remember. And there are many pictures, often pictures painted in the first part of the last century, that show priests and people at the altar surrounded by a number of invisible people who are joining in the worship. Partly because we say in our worship, therefore with angels and archangels and the whole company of heaven. So the first message is, we are already open to living in the kingdom. Not in the future, but now. And sharing that kingdom with the angels and the saints in worshipping God. The second thing is that the kingdom does change. The kingdom does change when we leave this earthly life and enter into the closer presence of God in heaven. I've never been a great believer in that phrase that says, oh, this person has passed, rather than saying this person has died. It seems to me to, if you like, dodge the important thing that we need to take on board. But the only value I see in that is that this person has passed into a new opportunity and new possibilities for life in God's love. Again, the expansion of possibilities as we die and enter into the potentiality of the kingdom of God. And the other point I just want to make very briefly is one of judgment. There's a lot about the judge coming and saying, have you done this? Why haven't you done that? How have you used the talents I have given you? And I think judgment is something we feel uncomfortable with, because it also carries psychologically in our mind the sense of condemnation. You know, the judge putting on the black hat and sentencing someone to something terrible like death. But I think for Christian people, judgment is a liberating, a freeing, and a healing thing. It is the recognition from God that we are failed. We are frail human vessels, as St. Paul says, or sometimes as the New Translation put it, we are cracked pots, chipped pots. We are not perfect. And we need to be healed. We need to be restored. And judgment is part of that, because first of all, we have to recognize where we are and stand honestly before God. And then we can receive the healing that we need. So just a few thoughts about this kingdom season as we move into the last week of it. It is not a time of fear. It is a time of hope. It is not a time of condemnation. It is a time of forgiveness. And above all, it's the recognition that we live as part of something that is much bigger than we ourselves are. May God bless us in this time.